So, the big question is this: how are entrepreneurs and real estate investors like us, ones who want to grow our businesses and who are tired of paying for really expensive alternative lending, how do we tap into the most inexpensive money available and do it without the hassle of typical borrowing? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. I'm Merrill Chandler, and welcome to the Are You Effable podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys. I am thrilled to have you back. This is Merrill Chandler, and in this episode of Are You Effable, we're going to be talking about how you actually tell a lender that you're a rookie borrower and to deny your application. You ready for that? So I'll be right back in just a minute. All right, this is a rookie borrower call out. We're going to discuss right now in this episode how you literally on an application, when they pull your credit, how to tell that lender that you're a rookie and that they shouldn't lend to you. Right? You ready for that? Let's get some of our terms down so that we understand who we're talking about. Because I know this doesn't apply to any of you. Thank heavens that we know what's going on, and those rookies out there are just horrible borrowers. So this will stay between us. Fair enough? Here we go. So let's talk about the debt shifters. The debt shifters are folks who literally get a new credit card with a new 0% interest offer and transfer their debt because they haven't been able to pay it down and they want to save money, right? That's a debt shifter. I'm not going to point fingers or call names, but I am going to tell you those are rookie moves, and we're going to find out why they are rookies by doing so. Now, the next group that we're going to call out the reward hoppers. Now, reward hoppers are folks who are looking for that cash back, who are looking for the rewards, like the Marriotts and the Hiltons, the hotels, etc. Right? And in order to get more rewards, right? 50,000 points, they ask you to open up a new card, and so we open up a new card, and we show. Not us. They totally reveal themselves as a rookie borrower, not a professional borrower, and they're getting their assets handed to them because of that strategy. And the last group. Let's talk about the last group. Travel hackers. We've all seen it. There are people out there who get 1,000,000 miles, right? They get 1,000,000 miles because of opening up credit cards, etc. They keep it for the required year. They put on the traffic that they need to put on it, and then they close the accounts. Well, travel hackers, you may be getting gajillions of miles on those, but you're also devastating the fundability of your profile, killing it. Let's find out how. Let's find out what those people over there are doing to totally ruin the fundability of their profile. Ready? All right. So first of all, why is account aging so important? Why? Why is aging so important? Well, I want you to make note of these thresholds. And for those of you, go to the blog, look at the graphics, guys. Go to if you're listening, go to the video version of this so you can see this, but I'll say all the words. Now, what I'm about to tell you, these aging thresholds are true for individual accounts, and they're true for the entire revolving account portfolio. Remember the collection of all your credit, your revolving credit. So every single time one of your credit cards, or the average age of all of your credit cards, and we're talking about only open accounts, not closed accounts. So when we close them, because we're travel hacking and reward hopping and debt shifting, when we close an account, we stop the aging process. We don't get any points when we close those accounts. So think of it this way: when each credit card and when each when the average age of your revolving accounts portfolio passes 2 years, then 3 years, then 6 years, then 11 years, then 25 years, you get FICO points. Your fundability goes through the roof for every single one of those thresholds. And notice it's algorithmic as well. That's not quite double the previous period. So 2 years becomes 3 years, becomes 6 years, becomes 11 years, becomes 25 years. Every one of those thresholds, you get more the longevity points. I don't know what to call it. It's longevity. It's aging. And aging after your utilization, aging is like the greatest contributor to your profile. If you got a 6-month-old card versus a 6-year-old card versus a 20-year-old card, you are individually you're getting points, but you're also getting points for that average age. So average age thresholds also are affected going downwards. Like from 20, let's say you're at 11 years. And you open up a card, and your average age goes through 6 years, and then it drops through 3 years, then it drops through 2 years. You are ruining your profile. Straight up ruining your profile. So let me give you an example of how this looks. And you guys really need to see this in the blogs, see the graphics, and or watch the video version of this. So let's say we have a revolving accounts portfolio has 4 cards in it, right? One 6 years old, 3 years old, 2 years old, and we have a 1-year-old American Express. The total age of those cards is 12 years. Now, I'm using it in 12 years to make it easy for you guys. They count all these in months, all right? The FICO, they're in months opened. Now, 12 years divided by 4 cards is the average age of the portfolio is 3 years. But notice that that 2 years, you're getting points for the 2 years, but you don't get any points for the 1 year because you haven't hit the 2-year threshold. The Macy's card here is 2 years old, so you got that threshold. The Forever 21 has hit that threshold, and the Citibank Shell card, you've hit that threshold of 6 years. So you've gotten points individually for 3 out of 4 of those cards. But as an average age, which means the maturity of your profile, the maturity of your credit card history is only 3 years. Now, let's pretend, I know this doesn't happen to us, but it happens to them. You have family members, you've got friends who've done this. It's horrible. We won't judge them, all right? We're not going to judge them, but we've seen it happen out there, all right? They go back to school shopping or they go Christmas shopping and they succumb to a savings pitch, save 10% on your next purchase, right? So, like little consumer rookie shoppers that they are, consumer borrowers that they are, they now get a Target account. And that has 0 years. There's no contribution. The second you get, remember on that previous episode, I said you lose credit score points for having the inquiry, but you get a 0-month card. It's a brand new card. So now you have 5 cards divided by 12, so 5 cards, so the total age is 12 years divided by 5 cards. Your average age for this revolving account portfolio is 2.4 years. And notice, it's a super consumer portfolio. Now, we tried to tell them. We tried to tell them. They went out and they went shopping again. So the first one was in the fall or at the end of summer, and they went to school shopping. And then Christmas came around. They said, "You know what? I need another account." And so they says, "Come to the 10% sales pitch." And our heart goes out to them. Compassion. We, don't judge the sin, not the sinner. You know what I mean? So they succumb to that 10% pitch again, and we end up with another card. We end up with another 0-year card. So we now have 6 cards. So we divide the 12 years of age, because we haven't got any new aging on these cards, on this portfolio. We divide 12 years by 6 cards, and now we have dropped from 3 years to 2 years. Our portfolio is plummeting in value. So let's review the unholy trinity of revolving account portfolio management. The debt shifters, the reward hoppers, and the travel hackers open up cards, and then they either keep them so you have too much available credit, which is a huge no-no for becoming fundable, or they open them up, keep them open only for the year, and then they shut them down as soon as the 0% interest goes by, or as soon as they've gotten all the rewards, or as soon as they've gotten all the miles. Every time you open one of these accounts, guys, every time those consumer rookie borrowers open those accounts, you plummet your both your individual account. You don't allow them to age. They stop aging because you close them. And those accounts now, your revolving account portfolio is hit. Now, here's the thing. These are lifestyle choices. But do you realize that there are business reward cards and there are business travel cards? I don't know when you're watching this, but at the time that I'm talking right now, American Express Business just offered a Southwest 80,000 points for one of their business cards. Doesn't report on their personal profile. You need to make sure they still don't report if you're watching this later. But I now get the same benefit, but I'm not ruining the goose that lays the golden egg. I am not butchering the average age of my personal profile. Whereas because your people don't know the rules of the game, they're crushing the soul of their personal profile. They're plucking that goose, killing that goose, and they're eating it once for dinner, called 50,000 miles on Delta or whatever. We know what's going on, guys. We've got to educate our friends and family because we all have somebody who's done this. And again, thank the credit gods that we're not among them. But we have to stop this behavior. Maybe we do an intervention. Should we do an intervention? Maybe we do an intervention, right? Honey, you've got to stop debt shifting. Now, I have two things I want to say, and one has to do with our debt shifting friends. First of all, debt shifting is a means to charge up money that apparently we can't afford because we keep making minimum payments, or we put a property or investments or fix and flips or other costs on these credit cards. We think we're doing good because we are saving interest. But when you charge those up on your personal side, guys, it ruins your utilization, and remember that utilization they offer 12 to 24 months of zero interest. But what you're not, the interest is a cash flow thing, but you don't realize that it's destroying your personal fundability because you're now carrying for 6, 12, 24 months balances. And these balances are far more destructive than the cash that you save being interest free. Now, I know we got to do what we got to do. We have a saying here that cash is king, right? If it's going to turn a profit, then maybe fundability can take a back seat for just a minute. That's why you need coaches or advisors to help you make these decisions. But I'm telling you, it can't be for long term. Debt shifters, and here's the last thing I want to share on about debt shifting, about these zero interest cards. First of all, rarely do we ever consider that it's going to be twice as expensive and twice the time before we can get our money back. It always happens, right? It's twice as expensive, and twice the money. Or twice as expensive and twice the time period. So, but what you don't realize, besides the utilization, which is the strongest argument I have against our friends and loved ones needing intervention to stop doing this, the other powerful argument is that that you're treating your personal credit profile, this goose that lays the golden egg, you're treating it like it belongs in your on your financials in the P&L section rather than the balance sheet section. For those of you who are familiar with it, you'll totally get this. So let me for those of us who aren't familiar, super simple to learn. You have personal financials, you can have business financials, but there's two documents inside of these financials. One is a P&L, that's profit and loss. That's your income and expenses. So you have $10,000 come in, you have $8,000 go out, you have in your checking accounts, you have $2,000, right? That's profit and loss, that's income and expenses. On the other side, you have assets and liabilities, and it measures everything to do with your financial well-being, either personally or professionally. Here's the problem. If your strategy, your credit strategy and your debt strategy is over on the P&L, you're trying to save expenses by not paying interest, all fine and good, except you are ruining the single greatest financial asset you have in your life. There is no greater asset than your financial reputation. Because you show me a borrower with $1 million and an unfundable credit score and a profile, and I will show you a borrower with $1 million. You show me a borrower with a fundable profile and $1 million, and I will show you a borrower who can leverage $1, $2, $3, $5 million, and that's good for $10,000, $20,000, and $50,000, or $100,000, $200,000, $500,000. It doesn't matter how many zeros are behind your numbers, guys. You can leverage your reputation. You can leverage a fundable profile for fun and profit, as they say. But when you're unfundable, when you've been carrying balances, even though you're saving money, you're killing that goose that lays the golden eggs. Now, here's the other thing. If you had $10 million, let's call it $5 million in gold bullion, okay? That's an asset. Would you spend money protecting that asset? Yeah, you would. If the more it's worth, the more money you would spend to protect it, right? 1 million versus 5 million versus 10 million versus 100 million. You would spend money to protect that asset. That's what interest is called. What we want is we want to have the right kind of debt. We call it strategic debt. We want the right kind of debt, and we want it to be minimal but perfectly played and established on your personal profile. We want to age the revolving accounts. We want to have the right kind of loans. We want the right utilization. We want the right the funding criteria. We want the right limits. All of those things build your financial reputation. That's what we call fundability. And when you are fundable, then lenders will invest in you with their loans and credit limits. So, I know you're trying to save money, but you keep shifting this debt, and you're paying zero interest, but you are butchering your profile in the process, guys. Every new card you get lowers your average age. So, I'm saying let's learn the rules of fundability. That's why I want you to binge these podcasts. That's why go to fundinghackers.com and just check out the bootcamp so you can get all this stuff in a weekend. You need to know how this works. You need to take care of your funding golden goose. You need to take care of the only asset that matters in the financial world, and that's your fundability, your financial reputation. So, horse, dead, enough kicking. The same is true for reward hoppers and travel hackers. those folks out there who do those nefarious things are limiting the value of their revolving accounts. And if you're trying to open up business credit lines and be able to write a check and do a deal and grow your businesses and do the things that you want to do out there, then every time you open up a new card, you're limiting lower and lower and lower your average age. That age tells lenders how long you've been trustworthy with other people's money. And the less and less it goes, man, that's why I said this section, this episode's called Literally Tell a Lender, hey, I'm a rookie. Don't lend to me, right? Because in this instance, your average age, they're not going to take you seriously. They'll continue to give you cards. Awesome. But you are a consumer, or excuse me, they are a consumer. They are amateur borrowers, and lenders are not going to ever take them seriously. And the number, and by the way, it is a negative thing to have, because they stay on your account. Even positive accounts fall off your credit report 10 years after they're closed. But for that 10 years, if you have 2, 3, 5, 10 revolving accounts that are closed on your profile or more, you're just screaming to everybody, I'm a rookie. And I don't want your loved ones, to be rookies. I want you to be professional borrowers. I want you to be able to have them create all the wonderful things in their lives. Okay? So, protect the goose that lays the golden egg. Take care of and nurture that personal profile. Keep binging these episodes, because I'm going to continue to tell you exactly how to do this so that you have the best fundable profile possible. I'm Merrill Chandler, and I want you to be effable beyond your wildest dreams. Let's just keep doing this together. I'll see you next time. Hey guys, thank you for listening to Are You Effable? Please leave comments, because I would love to read about your aha moments from this episode. And be sure to visit fundinghackers.com to view the blog post, get important links, join our community, and much, much more. And you gotta tell your friends about this podcast. We want them to become effable too.